Lee, and welcome to In the Front Row. Today, I am joined by my friends Taco over at Something to Talk About, Marley over at Marley Loves Film, and John over at Movie Lovers Unite. How are we, guys?
Hi.
Doing fantastic.
I'm doing great. This is
great.
Yeah.
This is what? What were you gonna say?
Oh, I just wanted to say this is a really great episode that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
It had me typing puppet into certain search engines on the internet. It's been opening doors.
Yeah. It was definitely a really good episode. Coming off of last week's, which we talked about was being like a little bit not on the slow side, but not as impactful. This week we get the total opposite. It's go. So we start with it's pretty much Kate's backstory, really, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We get Kate giving Emma back her memories. We get the C-bomb thrown in there, which I thought was totally cool. So all the kids get their memories back. So we have Andre that sulks about like Kate, saying that this is what she does. She makes people fall in love with them and then manipulates them and, screws them over sort of thing. And then Kate has that seizure and they all sort of panic and we all get sucked into her subconsciousness or her memories.
They get incepted into Kate.
Yeah,
So.
they literally get into her. I think you had it right when you say subconscious. Although if you're stuck in your subconscious, is it still subconscious? I think at that point, I'm not sure.
Conscious? Yeah.
It's your conscious inside your subconscious.
We'll stick with the part where you said I was right, Taco. So we'll stick with that. So we all get sucked in. And this was a really creative and cool way, I thought, for us to see Kate's backstory, because we already heard in the earlier episodes, I think it might have been 2 or 3 or something, where she said that she told her brother to walk away. And Jordan said, about his parents. And then Marie said about, her killing her parents. So they all had this moment of like, we're bad because we are bad because we're bad because. And this episode, we actually got to see it. So I thought that was a really creative way for us to get her backstory. What about you guys? What did you think when she was in the woods as a little kid and, her mum abandoning her basically?
I really loved it, to be honest with you.
Go ahead, John. You take this.
I really loved the backstory of it, and then her, everybody being in her subconsciousness, and then everybody realizing that they're all assholes in one way or another. And then they realize too that they also have to work together in order to formulate this group to take down the school. But I definitely like the whole entire suspense outlook of it, of Kate's origin story, and how they're no longer in the room. I like how the room uses the special effects to just open up that room. And it goes into the woods, and then we see her imaginary friend.
Oh yeah.
Calling Jamie Lee out.
You so called me out. Marley texted me straight away.
I said that Kate is basically Jamie Lee at this point.
Yeah.
Because Soldier Boy shows up.
Episode 6. Your imaginary boyfriend is Soldier Boy. And then straight after it, we were like, laughing my ass off. And then I said, I feel so called out right now because that's so accurate. And then he goes, if only it was Homelander. And I was like, okay, you got me.
I do like the synonyms for masturbation montage or monologue. Put them in, not gonna get out the canoe.
I know, like the past episodes of the show, I've stated I didn't really like the cameos, but this is a cameo I really enjoyed just because one, I like Soldier Boy. Like, who doesn't like Soldier Boy? But just the way he was like interacting with like the other cast.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he was part of the scene. He wasn't like in the background, like, and buy my Wheaties or whatever. It was actually part of the scene.
Yeah. And this is something like how I think these kids would idolize like
100%.
These Supes. So I actually kind of like the way that they put Soldier Boy into this scene, and just like him kind of like doing the hand motions and stuff like that. I wanted to be there on set and just like see the reactions, and just because I would be busting up laughing like seeing
I would be out of character the whole entire time, to be
Yeah.
Like Soldier Boy just saying like, Andre, it's okay, Kate loves you, but she'll always go back to pillow talk. It's so great.
I love how like sassy Andre was too. He's like, stuff this guy, like, this guy's an asshole, right guys?
I also like that apparently Kate didn't update because he's like, hey, you're like a Russian secret agent. He's like, no, come on, no way. I'm red-blooded, not like commie red, but American red. Shut up. That was
Knock,
pretty
knock,
funny.
shut the fuck up, or something like that.
You didn't watch the rest of that season, did you, Kate? But I got a few things. So just starting off with being inside Kate's mind, something that I didn't like, it's not that I didn't like, but I was apprehensive in the first episode, is, oh no, here are high school tropes, and here's had a perfect life, rich, blonde, a white chick who's super powerful, and she's the most popular kid in school, right? And it was like, my first thought was like, here's Mean Girls. And of course, following that trope, there's no reason not to. A lot of us know the rich mean girl thing. But once you learn Kate's backstory, that is absolutely not what's going on. And I really did like that subversion of like the really attractive blonde girl has an extremely tragic backstory where she was literally shunned by her parents, locked away like a prison, and she had to wear, gloves in order to be around anybody. Like, it was very much, she did not have privileged life. And then when she was actually able to get onto campus, it was like kind of the first time she was okay to be herself. And then learning all of their fuck ups, I thought was great. And also learning, because we all kind of speculated, that was it Andre. I'm still not great with names, but Andre and Kate have had a thing. Like,
before, yeah.
The first time they hooked up was not the first time they hooked up. They were doing it behind Luke's back.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Golden
I'm
boy.
not a professional. I can come up with really intelligent things to say, but remembering names are just fucking gone.
I'm bad
But-
at names
We
too,
get
don't
you,
worry.
we're listening.
Yeah. But yeah, so I loved, for one, the flipping the mean girl thing on the head of this is not your typical most popular girl in school. And pretty much everybody's revelation I thought was really sweet. And I also loved female Jordan like arguing, like the subconscious version of Jordan arguing with male. So we actually got the two actors bouncing off each other, which was really interesting.
That's something I really liked.
Yeah, I thought that was really sweet.
It was a trip. It was a trip when I first saw it, just because I was like, oh wait, that's Jordan too. And I'm just, I don't know. It was just really cool. It's just like that they brought both of them like on.
We're not
really
even bringing up my
arcs.
favorite stuff yet, which is the stuff outside of the dream. I really liked all the Sam and Emma stuff, but I really did like all the subconscious stuff going on in Kate, because we were kind of finding out that these kind of the elite popular kids from the first episode are just all as messed up as the main character is.
That's what I liked about it, though, to be honest with you, is the subconscious stuff, and also to them arguing with their own selves because of their own guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Andre was doing, was his own guilt was what his friend was, and eating him up. And I like how, you ended up sleeping with Kate way before anything else and everything behind my back.
Yeah.
So shame on you for doing this. And then having the argument with the transgender character, though, too, with the multiple personality. You know what I'm talking about, with the shapeshifting.
Jordan.
Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like that aspect to it, because it's like we should have done more than what we did that time, than just stand there and do nothing at all.
And Jordan being accused always of being a climber, that's their biggest regret, is literally kind of turning on their friends to be a climber. And I really like it gives back to Andre and Kate, it gives a whole different look on this, because she was pretty much tasked to be Luke's girlfriend, because you can control super powerful golden boy and you can keep Sam out of his head. So you need to be around him. But then she must have actually had a real connection with Andre, which makes it even more sad now that he thinks that she's a monster, which was my favorite part of the episode before. But like that might have been her real love the whole time, in her mind at least, but it's more of her duty to the school to keep Luke controlled, which is it's super complex, more than what you would expect out of this show, and I'm really enjoying it.
But I like the whole entire deal with Clancy's character with Jordan, though, too. It's like, he loved us. No, he was manipulating us. It's good to be liked, but it's another thing to be loved for who you are.
who else is surprised there wasn't an affair between Clancy Brown's character and Jordan? Like, I thought so much like, oh, I'm your TA. Well, we're going to have to start banging. Like,
a bit of both worlds, you know what I mean? The best of both worlds sort of thing he wanted.
I have a
That's what I
major
thought.
crush on Jordan, and I've not been secretive about that.
Well, Taco, you missed the last episode, but Tyrone and Jimmy Lee and I were talking about how everyone in the show is hot. So
Oh, yeah.
it's like,
But Jordan's hot twice.
But
Yeah,
I have a
yeah.
thing for the girl that
Two hot people.
I have the thing for the girl who
Two-
keeps
two for
turning
one,
herself
2 for
big,
1.
and then
You know, you get to hang out with your girlfriend, then when the game's on, I'm kidding. That's my,
oh my
that's
God,
what you would do.
it's
That's
so
my
good.
80s comedy. Hey, can
You
you be a
know what,
bro
it's a
for me?
sitcom now?
Yes, dude. All right, game's over. Be back to be my hot girlfriend.
I definitely have a crush on the girl that keeps on turning herself small and little, big and
Emma.
tall and all that.
Yeah. Or just call her Cricket. If you forget Cricket,
yeah.
then
Yeah,
No,
I have a
what I
thing for
loved
her.
about this episode, let's not call her Cricket, because that is not what she identifies as, okay? She doesn't want to be small. She doesn't want to be big. She wants to
she's
be
not a real
someone.
person. I'm going to shame her all I want, Jamie Lee. She's a character.
What's her name?
This
Jamie?
isn't going to get back to
So I can
her.
be PC on this. I want to be politically
No.
correct.
The best thing about this episode, in my opinion, was the fact that she got to be Emma. She was
Absolutely.
loved for who she
Yes.
was.
Absolutely.
Sam wanted her. You know, he loves her as she is. He doesn't love her for being small. He doesn't love her for being big. He doesn't love her for her abilities on
Not at all.
size.
They
doesn't
love
care
each
about
other
their
because
YouTube
they're
channel.
fucked up. They love
Yeah.
each other because they're fucked up, and that's
That's
what
they can relate to, yeah.
that's what I loved about the whole Sam and Emma like situation. Like
Mhm.
their sex scene as well, like beautifully, like beautifully shot too. Just like I like how they're just new to like everything, and the way everything was shot and like set up and stuff like that. I
But then the
love
puppet-
everything about Sam and Emma.
I have to just, I'll wait until Marley, because Marley's saying something that he loves, and then I'm going to be
And
like,
it's
the puppet!
beautiful.
All right, no, the ending with like, it does like the Titanic hand move, but it's a puppet on the glass.
Yes, I loved it.
Busted out laughing. I'm just, because you know there's a puppeteer. This guy who never gets work in TV or movies, he's been working on puppets his whole life. It's like, this is what I'm
This
doing.
is the moment.
Like,
second
there's a
to
puppeteer
the-
throwing a hand against this glass.
It's like I've been waiting. It's like the Phil Collins song. I'm here in the air tonight. I've been waiting for this moment.
And
Is that good? Yeah, puppeteer. Thank you.
And I also love like even after that scene where it's just like the aftermath where they're just kind of like the morning after scene where they're just like enjoying each other's company and like they realize that they're both fucked up like individuals and they love each other like for that for those reasons. And like when Sam said he said you don't want to be with me because I'm messed up, I got really teary-eyed. The whole Sam situation, like I've been in that situation where I'm telling like my partner that I didn't want to, that I don't think we should be together because like you can't like handle me and it's like I'm too messed up for you. So I was like I almost got brought to tears just because like I've been in that situation so much, and like Sam is just such a relatable character for me.
Bang a lot of mass murderers, dude. Charlie.
Wow.
If they look like you definitely want to. Hey,
He's not
Marley.
like a little messed up. He's slaughtered like 40 cops last time. And he rips people to shreds.
He's fucked up.
So that being said, I actually am a little mad at Sam because she knows he's messed up,
Mhm.
but there's a difference between what they had to do to get out of the prison and what he just tearing apart those police. That if I were to like sleep with somebody and like think I'm starting a relationship and they're like, by the way, yesterday I killed like 10 police in a really violent matter, I would be like, could you have said that before I put out? Like
Yeah.
I might have still put out, but I wish you brought it up before.
But I
She
like
didn't
the fact
necessarily
that.
know
But here's the thing, though. I like how her walls are now shot down, and the fact that they're both able to just open up to each other and to be able to understand one another. And that's something that I really like. And like you said, Jamie, I want to piggyback off of this a little bit, but I liked how he likes her for her and who she is, not because of the YouTube channel, not because of views, not because of all this other stuff that other people would actually glamour for. her for and date her for. He loves her for her. He's all in at 100%. And that's something that I like is there's no defense mode or anything like that with her. The walls have been stripped down. She's able to be herself. And that is why the scene works. It's just a beautiful scene altogether. And I really like it.
They are
I
enough.
agree.
You don't think that him keeping at least the violence 100%, not 100%, but mostly to himself and her not knowing about it isn't a little deceiving?
I don't think it's deceiving because she doesn't know, and he probably
that's why it's deceiving is that she doesn't know.
She went through a guy's ear and literally exploded a guy,
Mm-hmm.
and he probably thinks, well, this is what people do in order to survive. This is how people cope. He has been locked up in this cell all his life, probably. He has no idea.
And have his memories wiped.
Outside. So he probably thinks that that's her coping mechanism, killing people as well when she's small or killing people when she's large. He doesn't know any different.
It's making a normalization for him.
Anyway, I'm going to defend him, so this is probably...
No, I've noticed that you're going to defend him. I guess I was looking at it more from her eyes and not his eyes. I do understand everything you just said, and I agree with you that he wouldn't realize. But what if he just casually drops, oh, those bodies over there? Yeah, I killed 9 people yesterday. You don't think she's going to go, geez, really? Well, it's her point of view. I understand his motivation. You described it really well there, but it's more of what she's going to think when she finds out. Like, is she going to feel deceived or lied to about him kind of keeping some of the violence to himself?
I think,
as a girl, I think she would probably feel like most girls would, that they want to fix these broken boys. That's why she gets... And no, not in a funny...
I hope there's a line between broken boys. This guy... He listens to bad music and drives really fast. Well, my boyfriend kills people.
Yeah, he killed 40 guys yesterday.
You're talking to Jamie Lee. You love your broken villains.
Right. I'm down with either of those scenarios.
Oh yeah, I guess your biggest crush is Homelander. I'm here talking like Sam's gonna phase you. Yeah. You're like, he's not even doing it mega maniacal. He's not even that bad.
But I don't see it as in this chat. I don't see it as conniving though, in a sense, because of the fact maybe
deceiving.
Well, deceiving. I mean,
but this is my idea, and I'll let you go. But to defend deceiving was more of, if I would have had that thought, oh, I can tell her what I did yesterday, but it might not get what we're gonna do, and it might break the mood, so I'm not going to. That's kind of how I read it. That's why I mean deceiving, not straight.
Well,
I don't think he would even be thinking about what he did yesterday. Like he wouldn't.
No.
That wouldn't even be.
He's living in that moment. I think.
And I think with Emma, like she thinks I can not control, but she thinks she can bring him down. She knows he's messed up and she thinks she can help that. That's why every time, she was the one that held him down when she was big. She was the one in last night's episode where she said, he had Kate by the neck and he was literally going to tear her apart like the puppets. And she said, like, Sam, don't do this. She's deceived us all. So she wants to be the one who can comfort him and bring him back to reality. And that's I think they're both very innocent. I don't think there's anything deceiving or conniving. I think you used, John. Like, I don't think anything like that at all.
No.
But I am upset because I love them and I'm falling in love with both of them and their relationship. But at the same time, I just think of Endgame and I probably shouldn't. But I'm like, he's messed up. Like, what's going to be his
You
ending?
always think of Endgame, though.
I was also thinking he was actually he's the Hulk and she's the Black Widow.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Everything, too.
The King Control, the big guy.
Right.
I kind of want to bring it back to praising and being... I wasn't here the last couple episodes, so I didn't really get to talk about when they're finally kind of half-ass explaining his powers. The TV's John Ritter is one of my favorite scenes ever when the puppets come onto the TV and he goes, "Shut up, TV's John," or not John Ritter, Jason Ritter. And I was like, oh my God, I love that he called out who the actor was who's doing the Mr. Rogers bit. But I do like the idea of, there's two great things about the puppet thing of it. Him like kind of seeing his point of view of how easily people can be torn apart, so on and so forth. But also they're able to show us this gratuitous violence, not so gratuitous because it's puppets. So it's like, I could see one from a production standpoint and also from his psyche standpoint. I just love his power, by the way.
Yeah, we did mention that in one of our other episodes. And we said that was like probably one of the most gory, most intense, most disgusting scenes that you could have seen, and we saw it in the version of puppets. So that was super creative that they got to like go completely insane, and it was all like by a puppet. And what I said to Marley was it was really cool because I did a little bit of research on it, and all of the puppets were puppeteers, so they were all on strings, but Sam's puppet was actually like a puppet, like the guy actually got to use his hands and tear these things apart. So cool. I thought that was really cool that's why like Sam's puppet specifically, his intense scenes, you know, when he's grabbing and ripping, that's literally because there's somebody's hands grabbing and ripping these puppets. I thought it was cool.
I thought it was an intelligent way of actually doing the puppeteer work. That's something that I'd never seen before, and to see it being done in that kind of way, I really loved it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and also I do like that Emma is talking to him. Like earlier, it was kind of like a good voice puppet was Emma, and then now he's actually like in moments of bliss and love and lust, he's still seeing Emma puppet. Like I'm interested to see where that goes. If she's like the angel on his shoulder, kind of. I dig it.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to flash forward, I think, a little bit, and we're going to go to the scene where Dr. Cardosa is experimenting, and this is the whole big point of the episode, really, is that they're trying to make a virus to be able to control the Supes and their powers. So we see, I think her name was like Betsy or something.
To kill them, right?
Yeah.
Not to control.
At the end, we find that. But
yeah, we find out it's... I misspoke during like our first one when like the soup girl from Homelander, I can't remember her name, like calls
Ashley.
her, and Ashley.
Mm.
So she calls her, and I was making a bit where I was like, "Hey, how's the genociding going?" And then we find out later it's not a genocide. We found out it is a genocide, and I was actually right.
You were right.
It's totally a genocide.
Yeah.
Who has that on their bingo cards? Genocide.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so we find out that doctor is, you know, trying to make a virus in order to control these Supes, and you know her electricity powers aren't working because they've made her
lessen their powers. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we get to the final episode, the final scene, and we learn that Dean Shetty is, you know, giving these pills out to control Kate, and that eventually she actually wants to kill the Supes because she asks, "Can you up the dose?" which ends up killing the test experiment girl that they were doing, and she wants it to be made.
Yeah. That poor girl.
Yeah.
She wants it to be made contagious so that, you know, they can do this to other Supes. Wow. What do you think about that?
I love it. I love the twist that she might be like her real motivation isn't to work with the 7 or whatever. It might just be to kill all Supes, which is like, all right, here we go. Holy crap. I loved it. It was a really good like villain twist where we already kind of knew she sucked. And then now we see this like real flip.
I just kind of want to know, like I know, like her, like you just said, like her motives is to like kill like all the Supes, but why?
Yeah,
like,
we don't know that that's her motive. That's our like theories, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
is it just power? I'm guessing it's like, oh, I took down like all these,
or threat. Like, hey, by the way, the 7, I can kill all of you today. Like, I now have leverage over the most powerful people on the planet. So whether or not you use that button, you now show people you have that button, and you have way more control.
Okay.
And she had that in episode 3 or 4 when we got to meet Tech Knight, and I was saying, like, does she actually have a superpower or does she not? And her superpower is that she has control through manipulation. Like she said, I've got this dirt on you, and I can use it if you don't do what I want.
She's just really good at what she does. Yeah.
And this is another example of that, because if she does have this virus that can kill the Supes, she could say, all right, well, I could sell it to you. You know, like Vought has always been a pharmaceutical company. We know that. Stan Edgar always said that to Homelander. It's not about you. It's about the drug. So
you're not the product. Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes me think, like, does this lead into the boys, you know, are we going to get some big tie-in here where, you know, it's humans versus Supes, and we have a Gen V version of what Butcher was originally trying to do, which was eliminate the Supes. You know, are we going to get something like this from her maybe, or is it that she just wants money, you know, wants to sell this, or is it that she wants the power to say, all right, you can have this if I can have that? I don't know, but I think it's such a good twist for them to drop that she, you know, she wants to be able to kill them. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I loved it, and I'm hooked even more. Like, I've already been hooked. I really enjoy this show, but I'm even now more like, all right, where are we headed now that we know what the villain's up to, instead of just like, what are the woods? What's going on? Now we actually kind of have an idea, and I'm pumped. Now the heroes need to just stop screwing over each other, and and then we'll be good.
And I think they will. I think this is actually their arc to where they have to work together now, or else they're going to be canceled by this being that will poison them, basically.
You think
so?
Kate,
It's either right.
Do you think Kate's going to be forgiven and completely brought back into the crew? I think so, and I think she deserves it. I think we kind of learned why she was being the worst person in the world and why it wasn't really 100% her fault. And I think, like, do you guys think that they're going to be able to unite with her after finding out all this?
I think they will. It's just going to be getting there is the point, because it's like, look, we don't trust you right now. You did some shitty ass things, but I bet whenever some shit goes down, that's whenever they're going to end up trusting her to be within them to do that. That's what I'm thinking. That's what my hunch is.
Yeah.
Well,
it's really hard to go back. Sorry, Marley.
No, I go ahead.
No,
go
you
ahead.
first.
Somebody talk.
What I just said. I think they will forgive each other, because I'm going to use this word, Jamie Lee. They're becoming a family. They're becoming a family, and we all know that, like, not all, like, friendship groups or, like, families are, like, on all good terms, but when at the end of the day they still have to, like, come together and, like, and take down the evil.
I think it's really hard to trust somebody after they've hurt you like that. Like, I from experience know that you can come back, but you can't fully come back from that. But I think that showing us her backstory, them giving us that insight, that look inside her mind, why she's doing these things, and that she just wants to be accepted, because she was literally shunned. You know what I'm saying? She was shunned by everybody.
Treated horribly. Yeah.
So bad. It was really, really sad. She's probably got the saddest backstory that, we've seen so far, because, I mean, she didn't kill her parents, but
murdering your parents with your own period kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I get that. And we compared last week Marie versus Kate, like, who's the worst off, but, like, she was alone all her life. Like, that is very, very sad. So of course she would take any opportunity she can to sort of fix herself, I guess that's the way,
or try to make things right, in a sense.
I guess. But anyway, I think that she would definitely be reaccepted into the group through doing something heroic to save, all of them, because she is very powerful. We talked about that last week, and we were comparing the two, and maybe they wanted Marie because she can control blood. So if this virus attacks the compound V in blood, like, maybe she's the cure, and Kate, can do something heroic on the back of her or something like that. So
maybe Marie can, like when they're getting, like, injected, like, with this virus, she can, like, pull, like, the virus, like, separate it out and filter it. I don't know.
I think that'd be really cool. And Kate could come in and do something completely evil to Dean Shetty with her mind, and the things that she can create or want people to see, with her powers. So
I'm just interested to see where the show actually goes, because we as of recording this, like, they just renewed it for season 2. Yeah. So I would like to see, like, how, like, they bleed in from season 1 into, well, it's supposed to bleed into the next season of The Boys, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
we noticed when they were messing with, what's blonde homeboy's name, Rufus? None of our other characters have actual mental defense against psychics. So it doesn't really look like anybody does. So it really just shows how insanely powerful Kate actually is. And like, Dean Shetty actually now pissed her off. Imagine what she can actually do. Like, is there any defense against not only Kate, but, like, half of these kids are just super powerful, but, like, especially her. What are you going to do against her besides, like, that virus? But, like, if she wants you to just, tear your own throat out, you're just gonna. Like, that's pretty messed 100%. Up.
It's terrifying, too. Absolutely terrifying.
There's powerful psychics in other... So I got one more. Then I would pass. But there's powerful psychics in other comics, but normally there are people who have mental defense against that, and we're just not seeing any of that. Like Magneto wears his helmet, so on and so forth. We're just not seeing that around here. Everyone's super susceptible. Go ahead, John.
I have a question about something. Do you see the school probably being destroyed by the end of the season to where they're all going to be scattered?
Yeah.
And
Probably.
that's what I'm seeing as well, to where we actually have a separation. And it's a matter of who's going to be on whose team. Are you going to be on the Homelanders side of things, or are you going to be on Billy?
This team's going to separate. I think it's going to definitely end with them unifying completely, but I absolutely do see the school no longer being a factor after this season.
I can see some stuff being leaked out to the point where the school closes down or the school gets destroyed itself.
It's getting blown up. I tell you, I'm seeing it right now. That's the rest of my bingo card. Blown up. Genocide, explosions. That's all I got.
I don't think it would necessarily like the school will blow up. I think more of something like Vought would take like the school and use it for something else. Like they'll just repurpose it.
It's already being repurposed.
Experimental
Like,
stuff.
out of school.
Yeah. They've got a secret dungeon down in the woods. That's already
It'll just not be a
repurposed.
secret anymore.
Surprise!
Yeah.
We'll make Genocide the front office now.
Oh gosh. Yeah, we're killing.
Squeezed
we're
all the
killing
juice
this.
out of this banana.
Yeah, I feel bad laughing at it. But anyway, so yeah, this was a really good episode. I think everyone can agree that this was definitely an important one in the scheme of things, and where we go from here. Yeah. Where we go from here is sort of anyone's guess now. You know, we've talked about Dean Shetty and what her motives are. But definitely we hope to see the kids come together, and we want to see them get their vengeance, I guess.
We didn't even talk about the unsung hero, the one kid who looks younger than he actually is, who just gets killed.
Got fried, yeah. What was his name even? Dusty.
Poor Dusty. He was almost part of the crew there for a minute.
Almost.
Justice
Not
for
really.
Dusty.
He's like,
I knew he was a red shirt. As soon as he followed them into the woods, I'm like, well, he's dead. He's definitely red shirting. Like he's just there to get killed.
Deadpool.
Yeah,
like...
we need the gnome that they can die in the dream. Therefore, we're gonna have to kill him, and they did it like 5 minutes after.
Andre that was like pushed him in the way. Like Luke went to fry him, and he's like, "No, take Dusty."
Taco, just to kind of like bounce off like what you just said there. That's the one thing that I did like about like this episode too. It gives like a ticking time bomb element to like, oh, you got to work out all your shit, or you're going to be stuck. You're
stuck in her, and her psyche's going down. They're like on a sinking ship of somebody's own sanity. It was great,
and that's how I kind of like drew the connections between Inception and like this episode, where it's just like how they're going deeper and deeper into Kate's subconscious, kind of like they're going deeper and deeper into like I can't remember the character's name from Inception, but Cillian Murphy's. Subconscious. I don't know. I think that's what I loved about it.
So we're all in agreement that we love this episode. Can't wait for next week's one. We'll be back to talk Gen V episode 7 next week. Make sure you subscribe to all my friends. Their links will be in the description, and we will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Yeah.